Hi guys. Life can be unpredictable and wild, and that's what this story is about. Have a good look. 4 days ago life was so normal. My husband and I went and saw our baby on the ultrasound, and we even heard the heartbeat. He had just spoken to his boss about getting hired on full-time before Thanksgiving, so I could be on his health insurance. We just moved into our new house in September. Everything was looking great and we were ready to start our family. Then on Wednesday night, in the middle of dinner, my husband gets a call from his recruiter saying his contract was terminated with no explanation. We never got a call from his boss or anything in writing that would explain what happened. All they are saying on paper is that his contract was not being extended. Later on we learned from my husband's lead that a disgruntled coworker fabricated a story about my husband and accused him of instigating a fight and calling him slurs. Here I am, 8 weeks pregnant, our livelihood is gone, and we just finished a big move, so our funds are scarily low. We're both trying to stay positive, my husband is reassuring me that we'll be okay and he can find another job. My dad called me last night just to talk. We broke the news about the job and my husband joked that would be on his doorstep in a few weeks. My dad said, well, it would be nice to have dinner with you again. Well, we got ready for bed, I piped up. Honestly, moving up there doesn't sound like the worst idea. To my surprise, my husband was on the same page and we really talked about it. My dad lives 1,000 miles away in a completely different state. I called my dad back, I was so nervous and I was sweating like a pig. His response to his grown pregnant daughter and her husband moving back in with him. That sounds like fun, that's what dads are for. I'm so grateful for my dad. Yesterday I was riddled with anxiety and worried about my baby's future. Today I'm planning a road trip and counting my blessings. This was rough to read. My husband lost his job literally the day after we found out I was pregnant, of course our health insurance was through him. We had just bought our first house 3 months prior to finding out we were expecting. We moved from California to Nebraska, no friends or family here, the next 4 months were brutal to say the least. Here I am 7 months pregnant and things are working out, for a while I thought we were going to lose everything. I'm so glad you have your dad, you and your family are in my thoughts. You have so much to look forward to with a baby on the way. I'm rooting for y'all. I'm sure you'll have some bright moments in your life. And I wanted to ask you to subscribe to my channel, it's a great pleasure for me to gather a large audience. And stop noticing all my husband's flaws now that we have a baby coming. I am hoping this is just part of normal pregnancy hormones because I truly feel like a mean, terrible person, but ever since I got pregnant I secretly, and sometimes openly, scrutinize my husband's actions and question whether he'll be a good father. He is the sweetest, kindest, most well-meaning man in the world, but sometimes he lacks basic common sense that has me worrying about his abilities to handle and care for a tiny baby. Like tonight, he, very sweetly, made us sheet pan nachos, and instead setting down a towel or trivet and bringing them out using oven mitts, he carried the hot sheet pan by placing a dinner plate underneath it and precariously carrying the plate, hoping the pan wouldn't slide off as he set them down on the table. Of course they did, and he got burned. He does little things like this all the time, like thinking it's a good idea to move heavy furniture down a flight of stairs in bare feet or flip-flops, or uses unnecessary force when trying to do something and ends up breaking something. His memory is also terrible, he forgot his family was throwing us a baby shower, forgot learning that his cousins was pregnant, forgets how to drive places we've been to a dozen times, etc. Are these normal guy behaviors, or should I be worried that he's going to be a space case when the baby comes and not to be trusted alone with them? Legit sounds very similar to my husband. It drives me bonkers. But he's excellent in a lot of other areas where I fall short, so I take it for what it is. I trust that as he eases into his role as father, a lot of this stuff will work itself out. I assume this is common. Hang in there. You're with him for a reason. Show him some grace. You'll need some too. Parenting is a whole new world and no one will be perfect. Effort is important and as long as he's putting forth effort to love you and the baby, that's a good thing. If you're concerned about safety issues, both of you should look into the basics. Safe sleep, feeding, newborn and pet interaction, etc., so that you both will have the basic knowledge of safety for the baby. Take it as it comes. My biggest advice is to not make him feel incompetent or helpless when the baby is here, even if he makes mistakes. It'll make him feel like he can't help at all, and that'll be hard for you with no help. Never been good with kids, but I'm pregnant. Throwaway account. I'm 15 weeks pregnant tomorrow and feeling mostly okay about everything. I never wanted to have kids, but when I got pregnant I decided I wanted to keep it. What worries me though is that I've never really liked kids and I am so awkward with them. And I sense that they are not comfortable with me either because I'm standoffish and don't know how to interact with them. I tell myself that it'll be different with my kid and things will come more naturally over time as I bond with her, but I guess I'm looking for reassurance from other people who were never good with kids but had kids of their own. I've read that plenty of people don't like kids in general, but they like their kids, so that's what I'm thinking will happen with me. But does interacting with them become easier? Some people are so great and playful with kids, but I'm so stiff and awkward. I talk to them like adults, and having to raise my energy to match their enthusiasm is very forced. I just want to be able to relate and connect to my kid. I still don't like other people's kids and I've just had my second. You will form your own little groove with your baby as you learn and grow together, it's really special, and I can't go into enough detail to give my explanation justice. My summary I guess is that you will be best doing it your way, with your personality, not someone else's. This is me too. I just don't enjoy other people's kids, but I like my baby. It's a weird thing that's just so hard to put into words when it's your own. You sorta just learn with them almost and get that groove going. I wouldn't say I was great with kids either, just never spent a whole pile of time with them before my own niece came along. But you don't need to be great with kids, you just need to be pretty good with this one kid. And remember, part of the awkwardness with dealing with other people's kids is they're still their own people and you probably don't know them that well. When that baby is put into your arms, they won't care you don't know what TV shows they like, what their favorite toy is, or anything. They're a blank slate. All they know is I know this smell, I know this voice, and that's enough for them. The rest you learn together. Honestly, I'm still not great at playing with my daughter. 3 my husband is definitely more on her level when it comes to playing, but she still thinks I'm the tits. Having a rough time. I've been having a rough time these last few weeks. I am currently 36 weeks pregnant and am constantly uncomfortable. I have a horrible taste in my mouth 24/7. I can't sleep because of excruciating hip pain. My baby is breech and I will need a C-section. I have anemia, low platelets, and NMGBS positive. I feel like it's just one thing after another. I am consumed with the idea that something is going to go wrong during my C-section, and because of my low platelets, I will need to be put under or bleed to death. I'm also worried something is wrong with my baby because she is breech. I have an appointment with a hematologist and anesthesiologist. Basically, I am a nervous wreck and feeling depressed. I feel like I can't connect with my baby and am dreading the day of the C-section because I'm so terrified. Although I have a great support system, I feel alone because my health is at risk and I am the one having to go through major surgery with a blood disorder. I guess I just want to vent. Thanks for reading. I'm sorry. 33 weeks here, FTM, with a breech baby and bicornuate uterus. I'm also dreading the C-section. I've always had terrible health anxiety and fear of hospitals and surgery. Have a large SCH which caused a big hemorrhage at 20 weeks when I thought I was losing the baby. And since then every day I'm afraid of bleeding again and going into preterm labor or having placental abruption. Have amniotic band syndrome as well, which amputated some of baby's fingers and twisted up his toes. I've been struggling so hard with my mental health too, like the worst it's ever been. Getting treatment, but damn, it's been rough. I've been listening to positive C-section meditations and affirmations on YouTube at night every night and visualizing myself going into the hospital and getting the surgery and it going well. I've been having the exact same fears of bleeding out and something going wrong during the C-section. Every day I remind myself that scheduled sections have very low risk of complications and the surgeons have literally done hundreds of the same thing on mothers with the same conditions. And since it's in a hospital, if something does go wrong they have everything they need to correct it right there. So many C-sections are emergency sections with things going wrong with delivery and they are successful. But I totally feel you, it's terrifying nonetheless. You're not alone and I wish you all the good luck. I'm indecisive because I'm really coming to terms with who my baby's father really is it even worth it? Hi y'all. So I just found out that I'm pregnant. At first I didn't know how to feel, then I went from abortion to maybe we can do this is our baby, we got this. I love kids, I'm very family oriented, I think about having a baby of my own a lot. I know for a fact that I'll be a good mommy, I'll be attentive and caring. It's just my relationship with my partner that makes me question if this is the right thing for us. I'm not 100% happy in my relationship, I love him, he's sweet, but I want more from my partner. I need to feel loved, not just say it and go on about your day with no actions. I need random acts of service, quality time, do things with me. Yes, I tell him this constantly and it always ends with wow, I always feel like I'm not good enough. I sacrifice a lot, but I just don't feel like I'm enough. He hears it, doesn't take action though. He don't try to change anything, no effort whatsoever. He goes out a lot, he says he enjoying drinking and going out with his friends to get some stress off from work. Understandable, we're at the age where that happens, 23. But the thing that bothers me is that he's inconsiderate. He'll be out 6-7 a.m., going from club to club, simply because he can't put his foot down and say I'm going home, my girl's waiting on me. His friends do it all the time and I'm like damn, must be nice. Would this change when the baby comes or would we make the same excuse? My number one fear is doing this alone. I don't need a babysitter to be here every now and then. I need someone who's just as committed and acts like a parent. I can't see myself marrying him. At first I did, but once I really started thinking about it, he just doesn't have the qualities I want my partner to have. He does the bare minimum, doesn't seem like he cares about much. I feel like it's a problem when I'm with him too many days in a row. I just don't want to bring a baby into a rocky relationship because I know it'll only make it worse. He told his whole army so early, I kinda feel like I'm stuck with keeping it. I know if I decide not keep it, we'll definitely be over, understandable. Don't get me wrong, we're both happy, but as I'm thinking more into it, I'm not sure if this is the right thing. I know if we decide to keep it, we will 100% love them and they'll be our pride and joy. Any advice? It's such a big decision and it's even worse that everybody and their mama know I'm pregnant. I'm in my mid-30s and I've been with my husband since we were 17. We didn't start having kids until we were 30. I'm thinking back to when we were 23. Gosh, we have both changed so much. The man he was at age 18 was different than age 23 and he's certainly different now. There's so much growing and maturing that goes on. If I were contemplating bringing a baby into the world with him at age 23, I would have seen a lot of room for growth. He and I both would have had to really step up and mature, but especially him. 23-year-old men are still not fully psychologically mature, you know. This immaturity doesn't mean he's a bad guy or unfit to be a partner father. But it does mean there's some ground to cover before he meets your expectations as a parent. I would suggest having a discussion with him where you calmly, blamelessly and fairly share that you're worried about having the baby at all because you're not sure he is interested and committed and you're afraid to do it alone or some version of this that fits how you feel. This immaturity doesn't mean he's a bad guy or unfit to be a partner father. But it does mean there's some ground to cover before he meets your expectations as a parent. I would suggest having a discussion with him where you calmly, blamelessly and fairly share that you're worried about having the baby at all because you're not sure he is interested and committed and you're afraid to do it alone or some version of this that fits how you feel. That said, he might not be the right guy for you. That's tough to balance these concerns against the feeling of a baby growing inside you and the thoughts of who she or he might be, what she or he will mean to you and what life will be like with this child in it. I don't envy you these difficult decisions. I wish you all the best as you think hard, talk with your support, with your partner, and figure out what to do. I'm sure my subscribers will live well and be happy, and even if they have problems, they'll come out on top. Everybody, take care of yourselves.